Joining us here is the SBI Chief Rajinish Kumar. So thanks very much for joining us here on CNBC-TV18. Foreign investors continue to be optimistic about the India story. The question now is about domestic investors and whether we are starting to see investment change and the investment climate change when it comes to domestic investors. What's your own sense, sir, in terms of project sanctions, etc.?
Project pipeline is still, I would say, is not as strong as we would like it to be. But otherwise, we know that domestic large corporate houses, they had some problem on the leveraging. Many corporate houses, they had issue on the asset quality front. So we are gradually coming out of that. And once that happens, then we can see better investment climate in the country as far as the domestic...
You're saying gradually coming out of the deleveraging problem. NCLT, the first list and the second list, how confident do you feel about things moving on both of those?
So right now they're on the track. Of course, in most of the cases, there was a time extension of 90 days, which is permitted as per the process. But quite a few cases, the resolution plans have come in and they are being evaluated. So the first list, which was referred sometimes in July and August, I am very hopeful that by end of March or mid-April, at least for those 12 large cases, the decision would have been taken.
By April or March for the first list?
First list. Okay. And then it is a continuous process. And now it has become a continuous process for the banks and the financial creditors also. That wherever they feel that the resolution or any settlement is not possible or not seeing the light of the day, then the best course of option for the financial creditors and as well operational creditor remains that they go to the NCLT and initiate the process on the insolvency and bankruptcy court. So that way, like, it has become some sort of a time-bound process and brought a lot of time discipline.
So what about the second list? If you're saying first should get resolved or at least meet with some kind of conclusion by March or April, then what about the second list?
So second list was all November and December. So that would be somewhere in June or July.
Okay.
Before we can see the resolution plans coming in. But in any case, that should now become a part of the normal process.
Okay. What's your own sense on loan growth, sir? Because it's, it's flattered to disappoint so far. What's your own take on that?
So if you look at from the sector specific, then consumer loans are growing at a very good pace and there has not been any slowdown. The corporate credit is still, the growth continues to be muted. And which it will remain for some time, because as we press that the corporates have to deleverage, that is one. Second is the sectors where there is overcapacity, then the people would not like to invest. But the investment will definitely be the sector-specific investment. One big turnaround story which I am seeing is around the steel sector, where everybody is bullish. And 1.5 years ago, there was a lot of gloom and doom around the steel sector.
Okay, so steel you're seeing a recovery.
And that is evidenced by the fact also that in all the steel sector references to NCLT, there is a lot of interest amongst the investors, both domestic and overseas. So this is a sign of the things to come. And the steel sector is one sector which is one of the core sectors and which indicates shape of the things to come. If a steel sector people are bullish, it means that they are bullish about the overall economic recovery.
Right. You know, the Prime Minister is going to be talking about the reform agenda, and one of the achievements that the government would like to talk about here is the PSB bank recap plan. Any more clarity now on when and how much we're going to start to see come in to specific banks?
So 80,000 crore is what this year's plan is.
That's right.
And this is in addition to what some of the banks have raised capital through QIP and this thing. So this 80,000 crore is the recapitalization bond. And 10,000 crore was from the budgetary support, which has already been announced and given to the banks. So this allocation, I am expecting that this should happen much before the budget.
That is before the budget?
Before the budget.
Okay.
So next 1 week, the allocation details should be coming along with...
How much are you expecting?
State Bank of India, we should, I've always said that the way to view State Bank is that you could be either at the bottom of the ladder or the top of the ladder. There is no in-between for us. So
what's the likelihood of you being on top of the ladder?
If not this year, then definitely next year.
Okay.
Because at this juncture, there may be more pressing demands for those banks which are falling short of the international capital adequacy requirement. So they also have to be given priority. But going forward, definitely what I feel is that the remaining capital, the more allocation will be coming for the growth and this time probably the allocation would be more to meet the capital adequacy requirement. This is my sense, but ultimately it is a matter of a few days and we would know.
Do you think consolidation is likely to be a theme in 2018 in the public sector banking space, or do you think that perhaps it will be a little bit longer?
It will be a little bit longer. In 2018, the capitalization, the cleanup, the resolution, all this should happen. The banks, they will need to put their business strategy also in place. That going forward, what changes they need to bring in their business strategy. And once that has been done and the banks become stronger and come out of the current position, which is not very strong.
Yeah.
So once they come out of that, then one can think of consolidation.
What's the outlook as far as rates are concerned now? Do you expect a pause now, given where inflation is for some time, or what is the outlook?
My feeling is that interest rates, of course, the change in yield on the government bonds of which was about 100 basis points.
Yeah.
So the banking system probably was not expecting that. But going forward and given the outlook for the inflation and the growth in the economy, I don't foresee that there will be any major change as far as the repo rate is concerned.
Okay, what are you factoring in terms of growth, sir?
In terms of growth for the bank, credit growth?
As well as for the economy?
Economy, our internal research indicates about 7.1%. That is the State Bank Economic Research Department's estimate. And credit growth in 2018, we are pegging for State Bank of India at around 9 to 10%.
Okay. And NPAs, do you believe that the worst is behind us now, and what can we expect now?
So I would say that worst is behind the banking system, because the fresh accretion to NPAs that has tapered down. And as the resolution starts happening, then the gross NPA as well as the net NPA number should start coming down.
Mr. Kumar, always a pleasure, sir. Thanks very much for joining us.